A recent ruling by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit has reignited concerns over presidential authority and truth in governance. The court's decision upheld the ability of the president to deploy the National Guard to U.S. cities, a move that former President Donald Trump immediately cited as justification to send troops to Portland, Oregon. Speaking from the Oval Office, Trump told a reporter that he felt unfettered in his power to deploy the Guard wherever he deemed necessary. "I guess so," he said. "I looked at Portland over the weekend. The place was burning down. It was on fire." However, that statement was false. No fires were burning in Portland that weekend. What was actually happening, according to reporters on the ground, were peaceful gatherings, people riding bicycles, some dressed in costumes, with no evidence of unrest. On Democracy Watch, host Brian Tyler Cohen and legal analyst Mark Elias dissected the alarming implications of the ruling. Elias explained that the decision effectively allows the president to act on false claims and use military force based on fabricated events. What the Ninth Circuit has done here, Elias warned, is bless the idea that Donald Trump can live in a fantasy world and deploy troops based on lies. That's why this opinion is so dangerous. The ruling came from a 3-judge panel, 2 appointed by Trump and 1 by former President Bill Clinton. The Clinton-appointed judge, known for her moderate and cautious approach, has already called for a full court review, or en banc hearing, stressing that the decision could undermine democratic norms if left standing. Elias explained that in the Ninth Circuit, such reviews are handled by an 11-judge panel rather than the full roster, due to the court's size. "It's not every judge," he said, "but it's still a broader cross-section. I'm fairly confident they'll take this en banc and that we'll see it revisited soon, hopefully before any lasting damage is done." The conversation turned to what might happen if the ruling stands. The Supreme Court has already been asked to consider a similar case from Chicago, raising the stakes even higher. Elias cautioned that while the Supreme Court could issue an emergency stay or take up the case entirely, its actions might not come with explanations, leaving lower courts uncertain about how to proceed. If the Supreme Court doesn't clarify, he said, the Ninth Circuit should still act as if that lack of explanation has no precedential effect. The broader concern, both analysts agreed, lies in judicial deference. For decades, courts have operated under the presumption of regularity, the assumption that presidents and executive agencies act in good faith. But Trump's track record of misrepresentation challenges that premise. Trial judges, Elias noted, often live within the communities they serve, engaging with real people and tangible evidence. They're used to sorting out facts. They can call witnesses, ask the fire chief or the mayor's office what's really happening. But appellate judges are removed from that reality. They deal in abstractions and assume that presidents act honestly, even when the facts prove otherwise. That disconnect, Elias warned, poses a serious risk to democratic governance. When a court gives deference to facts that are simply not true, it removes any limiting principle. A president could claim fires in Miami or chaos in Indianapolis based on outdated or false information and send troops accordingly. The danger, he added, is systemic. If democracy doesn't survive, it may very well be because of this doctrine, the presumption of regularity. It has no constitutional or textual basis. It was just a convenient judicial shortcut, but now it could be the thing that destroys democratic accountability. In closing, Cohen emphasized the importance of vigilance and factual reporting. As the judiciary drops the ball in deference to Trump, we need people like Mark Elias and the Democracy Docket team fighting on the front lines. Elias, who has argued numerous election-related cases and is set to appear before the Supreme Court in December, agreed. This is about protecting truth, law, and democracy, and we need every citizen paying attention.